By the way, I do want to remind you at KIDOTalkRadio.com, we've got a few blogs up. We haven't really touched on it today, but we will. Obviously, if those Republican senators that have been profiled in the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, are looking for something to do tonight in the state of Idaho, they are welcome to come to God and Country. And there's a couple interesting blogs that I put up, one called Kate Brown's Rebellion, where it details why the Oregon senators are here in Idaho, and the other one which reflected the show yesterday, which was, you offering your home to these Republican senators. Only in Idaho, only in the Treasure Valley, where we would have a group of individuals come together and say, Kevin Miller, they can stay at my place. And look, if you're an Oregon Republican senator and you're looking for a place to stay that's safe, that's conservative, get in touch with us. Look, we can't confirm nor deny how many we have at the Broadcast Center. We have a shower, we have a couch, we have television, and, we have some leftover food from the Boise Music Festival, which the corporation calls, some of the benefits of working there. So you're welcome to stay at our place. We are a sanctuary radio station. Yes, a sanctuary radio station, conservative refugees as well. We are here at Team Mazda Subaru celebrating God and Country Day. More coming up for our big festival this evening. But first, James Davidson joining us, former FBI agent and president of ProtectTheFBI.org. Mr. Davidson, thank you for joining us here in Idaho.
Kevin, thanks for having us on.
Well, thank you for your work in law enforcement. We've heard so much about the FBI, but not everybody gets to be in the FBI. It is truly an elite organization. So thank you for your service and your thoughts on the state of the FBI today, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, Protect the FBI, which is the organization that my colleagues and I created, is a nonpartisan organization, and we try to look forward. We're here. We made a decision early on when we kind of formed this nonprofit. We've got members, former FBI professionals, concerned citizens. They come from both sides of the political aisle. The one thing that we've agreed on is that there are definitely some issues that need to be addressed. There are some policy and culture issues in the FBI, and they actually date back to the late 70s. We've avoided talking about the events of the past 3 years, but we came together under the belief that the FBI is vulnerable to being politicized. Now, we've gone around the country. We've talked to people in coffee shops. We've gone to speaking events and different things, and talking to people from both sides of the aisle. And the thing that's common to them is they believe that the FBI either has been or will be politicized in some way. And quite frankly, you only need to look back to Watergate and L. Patrick Gray to see that it's possible. So if you're asking me about the state of the FBI today, I can tell you that I know people, from the bottom to the top. I happen to know and have worked with the current deputy director, the associate deputy director, and people on down from there. And they're fine people. They all are. They want to do the right thing, and I think that now they're starting to take a look at what they can do to essentially set the agency on the path for the next couple decades and ensure that it does what it's supposed to do in a nonpartisan way, protect the American people. So our belief is that in order to change some of the things that need to be changed, it's going to take an organization on the outside, and quite frankly, it's going to take Congress doing something that it has not done in quite a long time. And that is work together on national security. We're not here to say they should work together on the economy or any of the breadbasket issues, but certainly national security must and should remain above the fray. And you actually only have to look back to, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mike Rogers, a Republican from Michigan, and he ran the House Select Committee on Intelligence a few years ago. He left Congress in 2015. He ran it with Dutch Ruppersberger, his Maryland Democrat counterpart. And they got together and they did it together. They went on fact-finding missions together. They did database analysis, and they ensured that the intelligence community was overseen in a rigorous, meaningful, bipartisan manner. And that's what we intend to do we intend to put some pressure on Congress going forward and making, and ensure that they do the same thing. So
that's tough, Mr. Davidson, because law enforcement is supposed to stay out of politics, and on the other hand, you have the politics of the day impacting the image of the FBI.
They do. Again, our organization, we're not going to comment directly. Some of us believe that politics have invaded the FBI, and some of us don't. It's not so terribly important at this point. It's as an organization, we're going to wait for the Inspector General's report to come out. We're going to obviously give it a twice over and take a look at take a look at what he has to say. We think that's the next relevant and important analysis of what occurred during the run-up to the 2016 election and the events, between about November of 2016 and the middle of the next year. So, we're anxious to see what would happen. My personal belief, I do blog and I blog on our website, is that I know FBI. I've worked with FBI agents for 23 years, and I cannot recall an FBI agent ever lying in an affidavit, no matter how obscure the investigative matter. So it's just antithetical, though, to how an FBI agent thinks. I don't care where in the organization they are. So, I just don't think we're going to see any lies of commission in any of the predication, whether it's the Carter Page FISA warrant or anything else. I think that there may be some purposeful omissions. I don't know that those omissions are going to be as sinister as people think that they are, and I can explain that by saying that when you're writing a warrant, you're not required to put every single piece of collected intelligence in that warrant. It's the important thing is that based on your experience, and the standard is pretty low, you have to establish that you believe that there is reason for a third party, a judge, to believe that somebody might be spying on a foreign government, and the standard's not particularly high. If there were some bad judgment calls made, then we think that the Inspector General needs to be very careful, because we don't want to send a chill through the agency and make FBI agents afraid to take the necessary risks and stick their neck out to protect the country in the future. At the same time, we have to understand what happened, and we have to understand if there was, what I would call circular intelligence, meaning one federal agency reports something to the news that then reports something to another, and the other agency quotes the news source. So we just simply we need to understand the mechanics. I think everybody does on both sides of the aisle. That's the one thing that you'd be surprised at how many people on the left also believe that, also shake their head and believe there may be some issues. So it might be the one thing the country agrees on is that these are powerful agencies. I worked in Ukraine in 2007. I was the FBI's representative. I was there for the better part of the year. And I watched as one political party, the one that was aligned in Russia, made inroads into the police, while the other one, the one that was aligned with the EU, the one that was pro-EU, pro-United States, was trying to make inroads into the intelligence service. So it's just, it's not.
Let me just jump in here for a minute.
Want to see. So,
Let me jump in for a minute, Mr. Davidson. James Davidson joining us from protectthefbi.org. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, 107.5 FM, 580 AM. I think the point that you've made and continue to make is, when we have politicians and folks in the press that may or may not be informed, attacking the credibility of the FBI. Obviously, no one is without question, but it undermines our faith in the process and our faith in law enforcement at the highest levels that are in charge of keeping us safe, whether it's from the Boston bombers, whether it's from people from the Ukraine or everywhere else. We need to, restore that faith that most Americans have in the local FBI folks and the people that they know at a local level.
Yes, that's the thing, is that we are your neighbors. We are the soccer moms, we are the baseball coaches. I am sure that if you look around your neighborhood, you're going to find there's a lot of ex-cops up in Idaho, a lot of I'm down in Los Angeles, a lot of ex-LAPD up there. I'm sure there's a lot of retired FBI as well, and current FBI up in the Boise area. So we're just like everyone else. We are a reflection of America, and we might have an overdeveloped sense of right and wrong at times, and we want nothing more than to ensure that no man remains above the law, and know, all those things. But you know, as an organization, look, we realize that there is a lack of understanding, both in the public and in Congress, as to what the FBI actually does. It's with such a breadth and depth of responsibility that sometimes what our responsibility is in a given instance is confusing, and sometimes that confusion is perceived as partisanship when it actually isn't. And I can give you an example. If you look back to the Judge Kavanaugh hearings, the FBI was just a client agency of the White House, and it was empowered to do whatever the White House wanted in terms of establishing what the background was. Well, you know, both one side thought we should do less, and one side thought the FBI should do more, and there was confusion as to what the FBI's role was, and it's an untraditional role, not an untraditional role. It's just an obscure role that the FBI performs. It's almost like hiring, in some ways. It's not a parallel, but it's like the FBI was hired as a private investigator. That's what the role is, and it's called a spin investigation. So we have a forum on our website, and we also have a Facebook page, protectthefbi.org, and you know, we'll answer any question that the public has to try to kind of unravel the confusion. And the other thing that we're looking at is, you know, the FBI being attacked. Well, quite frankly, we think that that's actually tied to the hyperpartisanship in Congress. If Congress is working together on national security, then if they are critical of the FBI, they're critical together. And if they praise the FBI, they praise it together. But when you have one side praising and the other side critical, it confuses the public. Doesn't know what to believe, and that's what's been going on for the past 3 years. And it kind of flip-flopped, right? It was sometime in 2016. You know, you had one party criticizing, the other party praising, and then it kind of flipped. And it's the public's confused by that. They don't know what to believe, and the public, quite frankly, they're not going to. You know, most people don't read the special counsel report. They're not going to read the IG report. They're relying on their congressmen, their elected representatives, and their senators to inform them and to make honest decisions that put country before party.
James Davidson joining us, protectthefbi.org. We appreciate it, sir. We'll have to have you back, and we need to get you up a little earlier. So our 6 a.m. audience, your 5 a.m. audience will appreciate it. Thank you for the great content, and thank you for your service to our great nation, sir.
Kevin, that's great. If your listeners can take a look at the website and you know, help us with our efforts to hold Congress accountable, protectthefbi.org. I appreciate it. We'll have to come back on. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Take care. There we have it. James Davidson joining us. We're at Team Mazda Subaru, celebrating God and country, and coming up next, a special VIP mystery guest. We might even call him Mr. Treasure Valley. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. You know, David Ferdinand, we're back on the air from Team Mazda Subaru. We've got a panel of experts plus a VIP guest we'll get to in a minute. First, your phone calls as we celebrate God and Country Day, God and Country Festival in the Treasure Valley this evening in Nampa, beginning at 4 o'clock. More on that in a minute. Also, you can go to the Treasure Valley God and Country Festival on Facebook, Twitter, and an antiquated thing called a website if you'd like more information about the free event honoring God and our faith this evening. Art in Eagle, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio.
Hey, Kevin, I'm sorry to take up your time, but I think today is just a real amazing event. And I was wondering if you have any connections with the folks at God and Country to see if they need any volunteers or videos or pictures taken or anything like that.
David Ferdinand, do you need pictures taken? You need volunteers here this evening?
You know, we've got somebody to take pictures tonight. I am still looking for someone to take good photographs at our luncheon because I found out our photographer's not there. So we always need help.
How would they get in touch with you?
Just
David at Ferdinand.com or
David at DavidFerdinand.com.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a pretty good one, isn't it? I've had that URL quite a while.
All right, so David at DavidFerdinand.com.
Yeah.
This gentleman wants to help out.
Or he can just give me a phone call.
For a good time, call David?
Yep, 208-899-9230.
You're giving out your phone number
on KIDO.
Okay, did you get that, Art? Did you get his number?
I think 208-899-9230.
One more time, David. This is compelling radio. Yes.
92-32.
All right. Thank you, Art.
92-32.
Look
Thanks,
forward to
guys.
seeing
God
you
bless you, and
tonight.
we'll see you tonight.
All right. God bless.
Hey, it's live radio, man.
Who booked this show? Let's go to Tea Party Bob, who joins us now from the Gem State Patriot. Good morning, Tea Party Bob.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. It's a pleasure to be on this show. I wanted to thank you and all those involved in the presentation of this God and Country event. You know, it's too often we take for granted the great country that we live in and the enormous freedoms we have, especially the freedom to worship and the freedom of speech. You know, when you think about the place in this world that governments put restrictions on these two very important freedoms, it has to make you think of how great it is to be an American. You know, I came here 26 years ago with my wife, and we were looking for a place to get back to basics and find some peace and quiet where the people were friendly and there's a lot less stress in everyday life. And I must say we were awestruck at what wonderful place Idaho was, that a year later we moved all of our kids out here so that they could get away from the East Coast rat race and find some opportunity to raise a family in an atmosphere where people actually do care about others, in a place where you don't feel inhibited about speaking your mind about religion. You know, there's no doubt that Idaho is changing as more people discover this wonderful place to live. I only hope that we can keep the values that made it great and made it the great place that it is today. So once again, thank you, Kevin, and all the people who are involved in producing this great annual event. And say hello to David Ferdinand for me. Tell him he owes me a phone call. I caught him the other day up in Cascade at the public hearing. God bless you, my friend.
God bless you. So Tea Party Bob wants David Ferdinand to call him. I've been reduced to an answering service. Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning. Good morning, Robin. And I'm Kevin Miller in the morning, joined by the Reverend Bill Roscoe of the Boise Rescue Mission, who has graciously stopped by. Hello.
Good morning, Kevin Miller. What a nice surprise as I was driving to work today and tuned you in, and you said you're at Team Mazda Subaru, and I thought I'd better run by there and say hello and say hi to Rob and our good friends here at Team that helped us with Miller's Mission every year, and of course Dave and Dave Ferdinand and Sandy and Leo, my left-hand guy this morning, Chief of Security for this event today here at the Team Subaru headquarters. And just wanted to say hi and God bless you, and thanks so much for your part in God and Country and for promoting it in such a wonderful way this morning.
What does it mean to you?
Well, you know, God and Country that's all about what I believe. You know, I'm a proud veteran. I served in the United States Army. I became a Christian in 1976, and Christ changed my life. You know, I, as everyone in your audience knows, I used to be a hopeless dope addict, and now I'm a dopeless hope addict.
Dopeless hope addict, yes.
And it's a true story. You know, I was a reprobate. I was an alcoholic and stumbling through life, breaking things and hurting people. And
you were a bad pre-Reverend Bill.
I was a bad pre-Reverend Bill, and Jesus came into my life so kindly and graciously and saved my soul and changed my heart and made me a different man.
Indeed. More coming up with our panel of experts. First, we go to Pro-Life, who joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pro-Life.
Hey, good morning.
Did I bother you? Were you busy doing something?
I was trying to wash dishes.
Oh, you were washing dishes. Washing dishes, Kevin Miller, it's all about priorities. I totally understand, sir.
Well, anyway, you know, I'm thinking about the God and Country Parade. A few years ago, some friends of ours over here at Payette, they had a float in the Payette Parade. They had some bales of hay, and they had pregnant women and nursing women, and these women were having guns, you know, in their laps while they were nursing their children, things like that. And the God and Country organization said that they wanted to put that float in God and Country, and that float was denied. Now, I'm just thinking, what if we wanted to put a pro-life float in there or an anti-LGBTQ float in there? What would God and Country say? Now, maybe Mr. Ferdinand, he doesn't make that decision. I don't know, but
well, we're not talking about a parade. We're talking about a festival here this evening.
Well, I know, but I mean,
you know, why do you always have to be a downer?
I'm not a downer.
You are a downer. You're provocative. Here we are celebrating God and country, and now you're going, well, how about this?
Well, I'm up for God and His standards. So that's all I'm saying.
You uphold the standards. I don't know if anybody else can uphold your standards.
Well, I'm just trying. Maybe they can't. I'm just trying to uphold God's standards.
I'm just trying to have listeners that aren't washing dishes when they call into the radio.
Well, hey, you can't have everything. You can't have
yeah.
everything. I'm not.
Sometimes
perfect,
you get what you want. Sometimes you get what you need.
Well, anyway, you can answer that off the air if you want to or whatever. But
all right.
But anyway, and the FBI guy, he's way too political.
Yeah, you didn't like. What do you like?
I like God and country.
This is where you're supposed to pander and say Kevin Miller.
And Kevin Miller and KIDO.
If I can be third to God and country, that's great. Thank you, Pro-Life.
All right, we'll see you.
All right, God bless. There we have it. Let's go to Joe Bell joining us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Joe Bell.
Kevin Miller, how are you?
We're getting ready for God and Country this evening in beautiful Nampa, Idaho.
Oh, we are the pride of Idaho, and Nampa is a great city with a beautiful past and a very bright future.
I would agree. What can we do for you today?
Well, I thought I'd call in and just let you know how much.
Who was the founder of Nampa? Who was the founder of Nampa?
Alexander Duffus. He's my historic hero.
Alexander Duffus, and that Nampa was called the New Jerusalem.
Yeah, there's a backstory to that, and we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. I hope to, anyway. And
yes,
there's a backstory there. What's important is we survived.
We did. Look, we are informing a lot of people this morning that didn't know who the founder of Nampa was, that didn't know that Nampa was known as the New Jerusalem, and that they wanted to ban bars in downtown Nampa during the founding of the city. And I think let's bring back that idea.
Kevin, I would certainly stand with you in solidarity there. I most certainly would.
That would be on my political platform for office.
Oh, well, not a bad idea. We'd love to run you for office, Kevin. That'd be great. But
it'd
what's
be a
important
constituency
now,
of Joe Bell and Reverend Bill.
I would run Reverend Bill for Emperor. I just love that guy, and what he's doing in people's lives is amazing.
Well, I'm sorry for interrupting you, Joe Bell. Go ahead.
Oh, I just
anything else you want to share with us,
Reverend Bill? I love Reverend Bill. He is truly the real deal, and his work and people and what he does and is just amazing.
Well, Joe, we can't wait to see you tonight and everyone at God and Country. God bless, my friend.
Be blessed. Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. More coming up. We'll talk to Robin Nampa next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And rolling right along on the right side, Kevin Miller in the morning from Team Mazda Subaru. We go to Rob in Nampa. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, my brother by another mother. People are going to start talking now. We've, been chatting for 2 days in a row here. And, but anyways, God bless you, my son, and the God and Country rally, and God bless America. And following up my good buddy, Mr. Belknap there, obviously remember him in school, and he knows me, and David Ferdinand. We were part of the cabal that saved Lake Lowell from the tree huggers, and he certainly knows me because I'm always out there starting their 15 years at Lake Lowell almost every day on my jet skis. But nevertheless, anyways, it's going to be a wonderful time. I just can't wait. I love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year. Almost beats my birthday. I love fireworks and hit Nampa here, and then we go to Marsting and hit Melba to finish it out, and maybe some adult beverages on the way, should we say? But it's always good. Another thing, definitely come up. Maybe I can't help myself to switch to politics. But whom else is coming? And I talked to one of our friends who I still go. With her and her old man, I go jet skiing once in a while out at Lake Lowell. Remembers good old Russell Nuss, who's coming to Idaho, and I saw him on TV this morning. I'm like, dude, you are old and ugly, Russell, my friend, the pothead liberal Russell. Yeah, radical liberal Russ. He wasn't radical in high school. He was just crazy.
Let me jump in for a minute, Rob. Radical Russ, who we've had on the program and we go back and forth with, it shows you, with all due respect, how gullible the press is. Russ sent out a press release. We saw it. We really didn't cover it, and Russ is going to try and use the Trojan horse of medical marijuana. And look, we'll have him on and all this and blee, 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 and hey, how you doing? But he, again, shrewdly is the puppet master when it comes to media manipulation, with the exception of you and this program.
I know, bless your heart, my son, and God bless everyone else. Maybe David Ferdinand will come on, and Tea Party Bob a little bit there, and switch gears from his trying to sort of be Pot Party Bob. But hey, I would offer up my services.
Did you wait a minute? Did you call Tea Party Bob Pot Party Bob?
I didn't stutter, my son. I mean, I'm like, he's pretty much a somewhat patriot conservative, but then there's me, which is I'm the Charlton Heston, General George Patton and Chuck Norris type of the wing, and maybe Sonny Landham, if you know who that is, the big old Indian dude off of the Predator movie back in the days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, uber arch conservative Republican. That's me. So I'm super hard to the right, even from good old Bob and his. Well, I need some CBD oil to calm my whatever in the morning or something. But hey, I would definitely lend my services if you want to put me on for a while to help out old Russ and taking him apart. I'll be like, well, you still got the buck teeth, but now you got this old white man beard. And, dude, I'm like your age, but I got a 23-year-old girlfriend, and I hate to tell you, but...
hold on, Rob. Let me jump in here because, Rob, you come into our lives, and you're... how old are you?
Again, you know how old Russ is. We went to Napa High School. We graduated in 85. You can do the math.
Okay. So, right. So you're either my age or a year older, and so you're like a 50-ish guy. You've got the buff physique. David Ferdinand and Joe Bell, and you have a 23-year-old girlfriend. Some would say you're living the dream.
I jet ski almost every day, and I got a nice tan. I wish I was buffed out. Got a little barbecue beer going on here.
Well, look, at least you got a nice tan, man. I mean, I turn pink and I look at the sun. However, let me just say this. The show is so much better when you call it. I mean, you get us going and then you move on. And I understand you got things to do, but I so appreciate the diversity of thought and just how you make us think. And I remember you were talking about jet skiing in Middleton and all these things. I can remember our conversations for many years ago.
And like last summer, they had the races here, which sadly didn't come back this year. But I was out there and just eating it up. And all my friends were like, "Oh my God, this is so cool!" I go, "Yeah, you should have seen back in the roaring, awesome '80s." And we had it for 2 or 3 years, and then it kind of died. '92ish, I think, was the last year. But no, you got to stay young. And Russ out there, like I say, well, one of our friends who went to high school with me, and I hang out with her once in a while. But she has a job usually, so she probably can't call in and take him apart. And she used to be one of the quote sort of the pothead, kind of stoner crew, but she wasn't a geek and a nerd, and Russ was. I can show you pictures in the yearbook, and I know him. He knows who I am. We used to chill and talk Star Wars, and I'm not definitely don't look like a nerd like him, and not an old pothead loser, but it was back in the days we talked Star Wars, and he was actually a cool cat in high school, but he's gone wrong, man. I'm like the anti-venom to him. It's like oil and water. There's no mixing. I mean, I couldn't even go have a beer with a dude. He's a nut. So I will offer my services if you want to see somebody, and then maybe my friend that went to school with, she's like, "God, he needs to grow up." I'm like, I know.
Well, we look forward to putting Russ back on. Hey, Rob, thank you, and God bless, my brother.
Bless your heart, my son. God bless America, too. Thanks. Good. Keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
All right. Thank you, brother. Take care. Now, do you know Rob in Nampa? He says he knows you and worked with Joe Bell and helped save Lake Lowell.
See, there you go. I do know Rob.
Yeah, and he's talking about his 23-year-old girlfriend.
Oh, my.
Said he knows you very well, David Ferdinand.
Well,
can you tell us anything about Rob?
A lot of people know me, and I'm not going to go there.
All right. Fair enough. Back to God and Country here.
Yes.
From Team Mazda Subaru. A big event this evening. Gates open at 4. The Ford Idaho Center Amphitheater. Going to be a great time. Wonderful time.
Tremendous. And people know that they can come there, bring their blankets, low back chairs, no high back chairs, and of course they have to go through security. So you can't bring water bottles in with water in it, but you can bring your empty water bottle so you can fill them up on the inside. And if you don't want to buy water on the inside, but concessions and all that stuff is available. But you can get there early, get a place to sit and sit back and enjoy not only the message of God and country, but honoring the military, the public servants, and the speakers that we have, the music. We've got a group that came all the way from Kentucky. 7th time down, just an incredible Christian organization, Christian group that's been out there. Talented musicians. Matty Zom is going to be there again. the regulators from the 25th Army Band, the worship pastors from all over the Treasure Valley have put together a group, and they're going to kick it off tonight. So we want to have people there, and of course, concluding with the fireworks at dusk. And I did want to mention, Kevin, if I've got a second here, the Dr. Mike Cunnington, dentist in Nampa, Brown Bus Company, Metagold, and St. Luke's and Fireworks America are.
Now, how long is the
sponsoring
fireworks?
this
It's pretty long fireworks.
Well, this
show.
Usually 16 to 20 minutes, 18-minute show with music that's going to be broadcast, so people can take their radios, or if they're in their cars outside of the amphitheater, they can turn their radio to 58, 580 on the dial for KIDO on the AM, and 105.7,
107.5.
Excuse me, 107.5 on the FM dial. And I had the numbers.
It's okay. It's been an early morning for all of us.
Yes, that's right. 107.5 FM, and hear that great patriotic and spiritual foundation of our country music to go along with that fireworks. And Fireworks America does just an incredible job.
Right. If you're new to the Treasure Valley,
yeah. So
we want you there.
Yeah. 4 o'clock, gates open. 5 o'clock, music begins. And, of course, we've got a lot of things going on today, and a lot of people have asked if they could still come and help. Stop and talk to one of the board of directors, the advisory board. We have a tabloid that's in the newspaper this morning, and it's got all the names and how they can get a hold of us, and especially be able to go to GodandCountryFestival.com, go to the Facebook, communicate with us, let us know what you think we ought to do next year.
Sure. Sandy, what are your thoughts here? You've been with us all morning.
Kevin, I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today and to represent the God and Country Festival and all the terrific volunteers that have been behind this all year and then seeing it come to fruition. One of our hopes tonight is we want everyone to feel welcome to come. This is a great opportunity to evangelize for those who have never heard the message of Christ, for those who love our country, or if you have people that you want to bring to see a great fireworks display, but perhaps they don't know about God. This would be a non-threatening environment for them to come and hear.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, is this event only for Christians?
No, it isn't. This is an outreach to our community, and my emphasis has been the entire time, this is about God, country, and community. And when you see all of us coming together from all of the Treasure Valley and surrounding areas, you cannot get a better picture of community and representation of what our country is, what Idaho is, and what Nampa is all about.
More coming up next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. And don't forget, tonight, Treasure Valley God and Country Festival. You can hear the music on KIDO Talk Radio and the post-game show, which will be executively produced by Jeff the Suit, who has joined us here at the Broadcast Center. Let's see if we can grab the microphone for Mr. Suit. Obviously,
Mr. Suit.
Mr.
Wow.
Suit,
Okay.
or as I call you, the Sir.
Oh, do you? That's news to me, but
Yeah,
I like it. We'll stay
yes,
with that.
yes. Well,
you didn't rise though to welcome me, so I'm a little hurt.
I usually do.
I know.
The Sir joins us now. When we're talking about faith and family and freedom, we have a lot of fun, but this is something not only unique to you, but unique to the community where people get together, have fireworks, have fun, have great music.
Sure, it's unique to me. I don't know about that, but
it's been a long morning.
Okay, I was going to say, I think there's a lot of people who participate. We've been kind of talking about that all
and
morning.
this is why he's Jeff the Suit, always critiquing.
Yeah,
always
could we have done
taking
that
the
better,
show,
Kev? Could we have approached that in a different way?
Always taking the show to the next level.
No, you know what? Last year when you and I were out there, it popped up on my memories today, like 1 year ago today. So that's amazing to David Ferdinand and the team that they could actually landed on the exact 1 year anniversary of last year. But it is amazing how many people come out, and it's always cool to see what the KIDO Talk Radio family does that is driven by faith, and what the celebration of a place that we all feel good about our families growing up in, and that we want to protect the rights and the freedoms that we believe in most, but be grateful. And that's what this event's always about. And it's a moving thing to see so many people who are just giving thanks and opening their hearts to each other and to our place of our lives here. It's
right. And obviously the volunteers and people that make this event happen, not just today, Leo, but year after year after year after year.
You know, for events like this to really impact the community, it takes volunteers. There's no way that an organization can get enough people that are paid to do it. The volunteers is what makes everything go. And this is one evening where this whole community can concentrate on our commonalities instead of our differences, to focus upon God, focus upon our country, and open our hearts to all of the people that are going to be coming this evening.
And really back to the Sir, when we look at 53 years in Nampa, Idaho, continuing that tradition, that 53 years ago you had a lot of division in the country. Very different from today. I think today we look rather unified compared to what was going on in the 60s. Sir?
Okay. I'll leave that alone. Yeah, fair enough. No, yeah. See, Reverend Bill in the background saying, "Nah." We both had the kind of I do think that this event in particular is something special. Where I think for those who believe love is the primary language, and if that's what you introduce first to people, is the love of Christ and a welcoming heart. What a great experience! And I think that does translate to the beauty of how the country is formed. It's this time of year when we celebrate both of those things, and this event does a really spectacular job. And that legacy of so many years of bringing people together once a year again to be grateful and to be welcoming to each other. And just say we're lucky. Let's remember that, and let's be together to celebrate and honor this special place that we get to call home. Then nothing wrong with that at all. Glad to be a part of it.
And Reverend Bill, when we take a look at the regulators and the salute to the military, and let me grab David Ferdinand as well. We've got a big event tonight involving David Ferdinand, your family, but obviously when we're talking about playing taps, this is going to be a big one tonight.
I happen to have a great son-in-law who is a music arranger. And in about 2000, when we brought the Vietnam moving wall to town, he came up with an idea to do an 8-part arrangement of taps. And when you hear this tonight, after the national anthem, I mean, I start to get goosebumps just thinking about standing on that platform and saluting those that gave their life, that gave all for the freedoms we have in this nation. We're going to hear that tonight. Oh, I should say his name is Eric Adamson, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I do that?
Well,
I could
sure.
do that. Yeah. All right.
Reverend Bill?
I can't wait to hear that, Dave. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, and nothing more important in my mind than honoring the fallen and their families, remembering the families, and to encourage and support them as they go through the grieving process and recovery. We lost 2 soldiers in Afghanistan yesterday. We lost 2 police officers in the country yesterday, and I guess yesterday and day before. We need to honor and remember those who gave it all. And that's part of what we do tonight. Are they going to do the induction tonight, the swearing
We're
in?
working on that. We're working on that. More on that in a minute. Traffic and weather together. Let's get you to work safely and on time. On KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Robin. KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning here at Team Mazda Subaru, getting ready for Glenn Beck. And we want to thank Rob Studebaker and Aaron and the folks here at Team for having us here and for always their continued commitment to our causes and the causes throughout the greater Treasure Valley community. Rob, when we take a look at the Treasure Valley God and Country Festival, it's volunteers, it's a message, and it's folks that are in business all coming together to honor God and country this evening.
Well, we're certainly excited to be a part of that. And what a great cause and what a great group of folks you brought to us today. We are honored to have the folks who came, who are supporting God and Country here at Team Mazda Subaru. We're lucky to be a part of this. Thanks for bringing it here. And I'm lucky enough to follow Reverend Bill. I mean, it's pretty exciting.
Well, it's an honor to have you follow Mr. Treasure Valley, Reverend Bill. David Ferdinand, big event tonight. Kicks off at 4 o'clock. Music starts at 5. We've got faith. We've got family. We've got freedom. We've got it all. We've got the fireworks. Rob will be watching the fireworks. I know he's fired up about that.
My family's coming down. We're driving in from Boise. We're going to meet there, and we're going to see the events, and then we're going to watch fireworks. We're excited.
What a great day. Beautiful weather. Come out. Make sure that obviously everybody stays hydrated this afternoon when they're at the event. But when the doors open at 4 o'clock, we've got a lot of people there that they can talk to, booths that are going to be open, guys like Team Mazda that are going to have their stuff
and
there. So
and people of
everybody.
faith. Come on out, everybody, tonight. Glenn Beck's next. God bless KIDO Talk Radio.